So picture this, you're exploring through Lunal Lane, you're collecting a bunch of coins, and you think to yourself, what do I do with all of these? Today we're going to answer that question because we're going to add 2 shops and a card trader into the game. If you're an OG viewer to the channel, you might remember that the construct version of Lunal Lane had a shop as well, and this shop is going to be quite different from that one. This shop isn't going to have as many items as the game normally would have, so I wanted to place each of the items around, and you can actually walk up to them and interact with them that way. All of the shops in Lunal Lane can be found inside of towns. The one that we're making today is going to be inside the Plerit town. Keep in mind, a lot of this stuff is still placeholder, but the first thing I did was make the room look a little bit better. Now, what's a shop without any items to buy? So I created a new scriptable object that's going to act as our actual item. This will store information like the price of the item, the name of the item, and also the sprite of the item. Now the shop is going to have a variety of different items, but I thought that a good first item to make would be a gem. First I created a game object for the shop item. Next I created a script that does stuff like set the sprite for the item that we made earlier. Now it should be as easy as walking in and there's nothing there. Okay, now we can walk in and okay, still nothing. Third time's the charm. We'll walk in and oh look, it's there. It's on the table. It's not exactly positioned correctly, but we can fix that later. The next step is to make it so that this item is interactable. And now when I walk up to the item, I can interact with it and it brings up a text box that says, "Are you sure you want to purchase this?" You might notice that there's no yes or no button. So the next step is to create a confirm and cancel button. I left you on a little cliffhanger there, but before we make these buttons, we're actually going to make a panel that pops up and displays information about the item that you're buying. I got you guys good. You thought you were going to see buttons, but no, you get to see this panel. Normally I plan things days, weeks, or months in advance, and I've been planning this shop system for a while. I first wanted it to be originally how it was in the construct version of Lunal Lane, and then I decided I wanted a more menu approach to it. And then just at this last moment, I decided I wanted it to be items that are placed in front of you that you walk over and purchase that way. So I never really had a design in mind for this information panel, so I just kind of did this on the fly, and I think the layout of it came out pretty good. So here's the item panel. Obviously there's no graphics made for it yet, but I think as a placeholder for now, it's not that bad. Okay, now that that's out of the way, we can work on those buttons I promised. So now we have 2 placeholder buttons that say no and yes. I actually switched the order of those around to yes and no, and I changed it to say confirm and cancel later, but for now this is what we're dealing with. So now when I walk up to the item and interact with it, it's going to display the choices, or the game will crash. Okay, now it actually displays the choices, but there's no way to actually pick one. So I opened Visual Studio and got to work. This might sound a little dumb, but I've always wanted the dialogue options to be in my game, so finally putting them in the game and just making these things, it had me so excited. Because I've been thinking about adding these things for months, and now that I'm finally adding it, it just felt amazing. Now when I interact with the item, I can actually pick which option I want. But I still can't select the option, it's just the visual. Now I need to make these options do something, so I got back to coding. In order to purchase this gem, I actually have to make a new gem, so I made a new gem. Now when I interact with this gem and press confirm, the game crashes. Okay, now when I press confirm, you can see that I actually get the gem. This is so exciting. I love it. It's awesome. Now we need to make it so that the choices take into account how many coins you have. So the first thing that we have to do is have your coins display when you walk up to the item. Okay, well, this isn't exactly what I wanted it to do, but this is pretty funny anyways. I kind of like that. With that out of the way, I made it so that you can only purchase an item if you have enough coins or more. If you have less than the amount of coins you need to purchase the item, it's going to display a message and tell you that you don't have enough coins. Okay, now when I walk up to the item, you can see the coin amount pops up on the top right, and it tells me that I do not have enough coins to purchase the item. Okay, now I have enough coins to purchase the item, but when I press confirm, it actually doesn't do anything. So we gotta fix it. Okay, I'm gonna pick up this gold coin. Now I have enough money, and now I should be able to buy it. Yes, I can, and it works. We have a fully functioning shop system. You can even see in the top right of the menu here that I now have 0 coins. Now that we have things in a more polished state, it's time to make them look nicer. The first thing being the dialogue options. While I was there, I also did the item panel as well. Now the item looks much nicer. I even added a little icon on the top left of what the item looks like. And of course I updated the dialogue options. The shop isn't just for gems. I want there to be a variety of different items that can be in the shops, one of which being charms. If you don't know what charms are, there's a link in the description to one of my previous devlogs that talks about the charms. Essentially, they're just different weapons you can equip. So I already added this charm into the game in the charm devlog, but I never actually had a use for it. And now I do. The way that I made the shop system, it's super easy for me to make other items that you can buy, so making the charm item wasn't that difficult at all. So now I can purchase the charm. When I purchase it, it doesn't go away. I'll fix that later. You can see if I actually go into the menu, I can actually equip the new charm, and you can see that it's working perfectly fine. One of the things that I love from the construct version of the shop was that the wall would actually flip open and the shop was hidden behind the wall. So of course, you know, I wanted to retain that in the Unity version of the game. I already have a system for secret walls in Lunal Lane, so I didn't have to make anything new here. Now when you walk in the room, everything looks normal until you hit the wall and reveal the hidden shop behind the wall. This is awesome, but I don't want you to have to hit the wall in order to reveal the shop, so what we're gonna do is actually trigger it when you reach a certain point in the room. Now when I get close to the wall, the secret is revealed. And what's a shop without an adorable shopkeeper? I showed these guys off a while ago, and this is my first time adding a brand new race into Lunal Lane since I started. So since I started, I had the main character, which is an Aether, and humans in the game, but this is my first time adding a new race officially into the game. These cat-like people are called Ullalians, and they're mostly known for being shopkeepers. They're super adorable, and I hope you guys will love them. Next, I added him into the game and gave him some dialogue. So here we have him. You can walk up to him and talk to him. He says, "Feel free to browse, all prices are steel." The last detail I'm gonna add for now is a piece of wood that flips up when the shop opens. Now when the shop opens, the piece of wood flips up. It definitely could use some work and it's not aligned properly, but I can get around to that later. The main idea is there. There's also another type of shop in the game, the Lunapon shop. This is where you'll be able to buy different cards. The cards that you'll buy at the shop are exclusive cards that you can only find in the shop. And I actually didn't have any extra cards lying around, so I had to make a new one. This one is a small potion card, and it's going to be the first healing item in the game. Now that the card is done, let's add it into the game. Okay, now that we have the card in the game, I'm going to equip the card. And now if I take some damage, I can heal myself. Great, so we have a card. Now all we need is a shop. Once again, I'm kind of skimping out on decorations here. I don't have a design for the Lunapon shop yet, but I do want it to be like a sort of a stand, so I just kind of put these two dressers next to it where I'll put the items. I'm sorry guys, I'll change it later. So I essentially just copied the item from the other shop, and instead of having it be a gem or a charm, I just make it a card, and then I just linked it to the script that unlocks new cards. And now, if I have enough coins, I can purchase the brand new card with a fancy animation as well. Wow, this has been a packed devlog. The last thing we're gonna add is a card trader. He's gonna work similarly to the shop, but instead of taking coins as a payment, he's going to take one of your cards and in return give you an exclusive card. Now I've already been working on this stuff for so long that I didn't want to spend the time to make another card because it would make this video take even longer to come out. So for the purpose of demonstration, this player is going to give you a card that's already in the game. So I can walk up to the card maniac, talk to him, and he'll say, "You have a mousy card? I'll trade you for my player card." And you do lose one of your cards when you do this trade, so if you want all of them, you're gonna go have to find another one. With the inclusion of shops, players have something that they can look forward to. Maybe you want to go out and kill a few enemies to get enough coins to get a new charm. Or maybe you just want to collect all the cards in the game. For the next Lunal Lane devlog, I want to add a mini boss and the first ability into the game. If you want to support me and Lunal Lane, I have a Patreon. You can check out the link to it in the description. You get to see these Lunal Lane devlogs early, and also the extra bits behind the scenes videos early as well. You even get stuff like test builds, and there's also really cool things like letting you design an NPC or you create your own enemy. But I think that's going to wrap up this video. As always, I'll see you in the next devlog.